For those of us living in the real world, there is a branch of philosophy crafted specifically for us, Stoicism. This philosophy is designed to make us more resilient, happier, more virtuous, and wiser, ultimately shaping us into better people, parents, and professionals. Stoicism has been a guiding thread for some of history's greatest leaders, practiced by rulers, artists, writers, and entrepreneurs. It has influenced figures like Marcus Aurelius, Frederick the Great, Montaigne, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Adam Smith, John Stuart Mill, Theodore Roosevelt, and General James Mattis, just to name a few. In this guide, we offer answers to what is and what is not Stoicism. If you want to know more about Stoic philosophy, its beginning, and what are the 4 core virtues of Stoicism, stay with us until the end and make this knowledge useful to improve your own life and the lives around you. Seneca once said, "Of all people, only those are at leisure who make time for philosophy. Only they truly live. Not satisfied to merely keep good watch over their own days, they annex every age to their own. All the harvest of the past is added to their store." The private diaries of one of Rome's greatest emperors, the personal letters of Rome's best-renowned playwright and wise power broker, and the lectures of a former slave turned influential teacher. Against all odds, these incredible documents have survived for 2 millennia. They hold some of the greatest wisdom in history and form the bedrock of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy once popular across all societal levels in the pursuit of the good life. Yet, Stoicism remains either unknown or misunderstood by most. To the average person, this vibrant, action-oriented philosophy is often misinterpreted as mere emotionlessness. The very mention of philosophy tends to bore or intimidate, making Stoic philosophy seem irrelevant. However, the English language has rarely done a greater disservice than in its misrepresentation of Stoic. In its rightful place, Stoicism is a tool for self-mastery, perseverance, and wisdom, a practical guide to living a great life rather than an esoteric academic field. History's great minds, George Washington, Walt Whitman, Frederick the Great, Eugene Delacroix, Adam Smith, Immanuel Kant, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, Ralph Waldo Emerson, each read, studied, quoted, or admired the Stoics. The ancient Stoics themselves were remarkable individuals. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca were a Roman emperor, a former slave turned influential lecturer, and a famous playwright and political advisor, respectively. What did these great individuals find in Stoicism that others missed? A profound source of strength, wisdom, and stamina for life's challenges. Around 304 BC, a merchant named Zeno was shipwrecked on a trading voyage, losing nearly everything. Finding his way to Athens, he was introduced to philosophy by the Cynic philosopher Crates and the Megarian philosopher Stilpo, which profoundly changed his life. Zeno later joked, "I made a prosperous voyage when I suffered a shipwreck." He eventually moved to the Stoa Poikile, or painted porch, erected in the 5th century BC and still partially visible today. There, Zeno and his disciples gathered for discussions, while initially called Zenonians. It's a testament to Zeno's humility that the philosophical school he founded did not ultimately carry his name. Agasicles, king of the Spartans, once said he wanted to be the student of men whose son I should like to be as well. This is crucial when choosing role models, and Stoicism is no exception. Before starting our studies, we should ask, who followed these principles? Who can we admire as examples? Are we proud to look up to these people? Do we want to be like them? The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, the playwright and political advisor Seneca, and the slave-turned-teacher Epictetus are the 3 Stoics we need to know first. Once we do, we will likely want to follow in their footsteps. Born around 4 BC in Cordoba, Spain, Seneca the Younger was destined for greatness as the son of Seneca the Elder, a wealthy and learned writer. Seneca's father chose Attalus the Stoic to tutor his son, known for his eloquence. Seneca eagerly embraced his education, arriving first and leaving last. From Attalus, he learned the importance of practical self-improvement, taking away one good lesson each day. Though his dedication to self-improvement was admired, his father, who disdained philosophy, aimed for Seneca to pursue an ambitious political career. In Rome, Seneca, a promising young lawyer, could appear in court by age 17. However, in his early 20s, a lung condition nearly cut his career short, out, forcing him to spend nearly a decade in Egypt recovering, writing, and reading. Seneca returned to Rome at 35 in 31 AD during a time of paranoia, violence, and political turmoil. He managed to stay under the radar during the terrifying reigns of Tiberius and Caligula. However, his life took a sharp turn in 41 AD when Emperor Claudius exiled him to Corsica. During his 8-year exile, Seneca wrote Consolation to Polybius, Consolation to Helvia, and On Anger. He soon began his lifelong practice of letter writing. In another twist, Agrippina, mother of future Emperor Nero and wife of Claudius, recalled Seneca from exile to become her son's tutor and advisor. At 53, Seneca found himself at the center of Roman imperial court life. Despite his efforts, Seneca made little impact on Nero, who soon revealed his deranged nature. Seneca's mission was likely always hopeless, but as a Stoic, he believed in showing up and doing our work. He felt a duty to engage in politics, distinguishing Stoics from Epicureans. In essence, Seneca's life embodies the Stoic commitment to duty and resilience amid adversity. While Seneca spoke relatably about slave owners being overwhelmed by their responsibilities, and other Stoics congratulated themselves on their humane treatment of slaves, Epictetus was actually born into slavery. His real name is unknown. Epictetus means acquired in Greek. Despite being owned by the cruel Epaphroditus, Epictetus maintained a neutral tone when mentioning him. According to later Christian writers, Epaphroditus was violent, once twisting Epictetus's leg until it snapped. Epictetus calmly warned him, and when it broke, he simply said, "Didn't I warn you?" He bore this injury for life but remained unbroken, stating, "Lameness is an impediment to the leg, but not to the will." Epictetus believed that life was like a play, where one's role, whether as a poor man, a cripple, a governor, or a private person, should be performed well. This idea of accepting one's circumstances defined his philosophy. A law established by Augustus in 4 AD prevented slaves from being freed before age 30, so Epictetus gained his freedom only after Emperor Nero's death. He dedicated his life to philosophy, teaching in Rome for nearly 25 years until Emperor Domitian banished all philosophers. Epictetus then fled to Nicopolis in Greece, where he founded a philosophy school and taught until his death. Epictetus's life exemplifies resilience and the Stoic belief in choosing how we respond to circumstances, regardless of physical limitations or societal status. Alone of the emperors, historian Herodian wrote of Marcus Aurelius, he proved his learning through his blameless character and temperate way of life. Cassius Dio added, he ruled better than any others who had ever been in any position of power. Born April 26, 121, no one could have predicted that Marcus Catilius Severus Annius Verus would become Emperor of Rome. Emperor Hadrian, noticing young Marcus's potential through his academic accomplishments, kept an eye on him, nicknaming him Verissimus, the truest one. By Marcus's 17th birthday, Hadrian had begun planning something extraordinary to make Marcus Aurelius the Emperor of Rome. On February 25, 138, Hadrian adopted Antoninus Pius on the condition that he, in turn, adopted Marcus Aurelius. Hadrian expected Antoninus to rule briefly, but Antoninus ruled for 23 years. In 161, after Antoninus's death, Marcus became Emperor of Rome, ruling for nearly 2 decades until his death in 180. His reign faced many challenges: wars with the Parthian Empire, barbarian tribes at the northern border, the rise of Christianity, and a plague that killed millions. Historian Edward Gibbon noted that under Marcus, the last of the 5 good emperors, the Roman Empire was governed by absolute power under the guidance of wisdom and virtue. Marcus's guidance of wisdom and virtue sets him apart from many leaders. His journal, now known as Meditations, reveals his private thoughts, urging himself to be more virtuous, just, immune to temptation, and wise. For Marcus, Stoicism provided a framework to handle the daily stresses of leading one of history's most powerful empires. These are the core values of Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If, at some point in your life, you should come across anything better than justice, truth, self-control, courage, it must be an extraordinary thing indeed." That was almost 20 centuries ago. Since then, we've discovered automobiles, the internet, and cures for diseases that were once fatal. But have we found anything better than being brave, than moderation and sobriety, than doing what's right, than truth and understanding? No. We have not. It's unlikely we ever will. Courage, temperance, justice, wisdom. Every challenge in life is an opportunity to respond with these 4 traits. Seneca once said, "I judge you unfortunate because you have never lived through misfortune. You have passed through life without an opponent. No one can ever know what you are capable of, not even you." The world often tries to categorize us, testing us with challenging situations. Instead of seeing these as inconveniences or tragedies, we should view them as opportunities, as questions that demand answers. Do we have courage? Will we face problems head-on or retreat? Our actions will leave a mark and remind us why courage is paramount. Life isn't as simple as valuing only courage. While we all recognize its importance, we also see how excessive bravery can turn into recklessness, endangering both ourselves and others. Aristotle illustrated this with his concept of the golden mean, using courage as a prime example. On one extreme lies cowardice, a lack of courage. On the other, recklessness, an excess of it. What we truly need is the balance in between, the golden mean, the right amount of courage. Similarly, temperance or moderation teaches us to avoid excess in all things, to act rightly and in the appropriate measure. As Aristotle famously said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. In essence, virtue and excellence are ingrained in our daily habits and actions. As Epictetus emphasized, capability grows through repeated actions and habits. If we aspire to happiness, success, or greatness, it's about developing these daily habits and systems that support our goals. This is encouraging because it means significant achievements and positive changes are within reach through consistent, thoughtful actions and well-formed habits, not through extraordinary effort or elusive secrets. Bravery and balance are fundamental Stoic virtues, yet they pale in comparison to what Stoics hold most dearly, doing what is right. Justice stands as the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, influencing all other virtues. Marcus Aurelius affirmed it as the source of all the other virtues. Throughout history, Stoics have championed justice, often at personal risk, courageously defending their values and loved ones. A Stoic perceives the world with clarity, envisioning its potential. They muster bravery and strategic insight to actively shape that vision into reality. Courage, temperance, justice, these are life's critical virtues. But when do we need courage? How much is enough? What is the right action? Here, wisdom, the final and essential virtue, comes into play. It's about knowing, learning, and gaining experience to navigate life. Wisdom has always been cherished by Stoics. Zeno wisely noted that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth to listen more than we speak. With 2 eyes, we're obligated to read and observe more than we talk. Today, as in ancient times, distinguishing between vast information and true wisdom is crucial for a good life. We must study continuously and keep our minds open. As Epictetus wisely said, we cannot learn what we think we already know. It's true, we must remain humble students and seek great teachers, always reading and training diligently. Filtering signal from noise is essential, not just gathering information, but the right kind of information. It's about absorbing key insights, like those in Meditations or from the likes of Epictetus and James Stockdale. With millennia of wisdom available, we hold the power to learn anything at our fingertips. Today, honor Stoic wisdom by slowing down, being deliberate, and seeking the wisdom we truly need. 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 mouth. Stay a student. Act wisely. Give us a like and share your opinion below. It cost you nothing, but it's meant a lot for us. If you want to know how to find something to live and die for, and to know the 4 Stoic strategies that can help overcome suffering, listen to our previous video. The link is on the screen. Thank you for joining us on this Stoic journey. Until next time, may these practices transform your mornings, your days, and ultimately, your life.